long ago in a film studio not too far from where Jover is, I guess. A team of filmmakers decided to come together to make a film based on international rescue.
But it all changed when Universal attacked?
I guess.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm not going to go any further than that. Welcome to our commentary of the 2004 movie adaptation of Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds, in case you don't know, was a TV show originally debuting in 1965 about a family called the Tracy Brothers, who run an organization called International Rescue, using their vehicles, the Thunderbirds, to help out people in danger.
Wasn't that show with puppets like Captain Scarlet?
Yes, indeed it was. I mean, it was created by the same guy. Well, granted, this show came first, but yeah, it was created by Jerry Anderson and his wife Sylvia, well, then wife at the time. And it was a rousing success in Britain.
And Hollywood thought it was a better. Nah, let's remove the puppet appeal. Let's just do it live action.
Let's see. According to the Wikipedia page, this was a British and American collaboration, so Britain shares the blame in making this movie.
Oh, okay. You Brits are up to blame too.
Well, like, it wouldn't be the only time they've done it. They're partially to blame for that wonderful Monster Family movie.
And, okay, believe it or not, this wasn't the first Thunderbirds movie ever made. This is the third, actually. The first two were actually actually used the puppets in the late 60s.
Well, because they were apparently sequels to the original show.
Yes. Now, this movie was directed by, of all people, Jonathan Frakes. Yes, the guy who played Commander Riker in Star Trek, and before this had a few decent movies, including Star Trek: First Contact, a very good Star Trek movie in my opinion, Star Trek: Insurrection that wasn't, and Clockstoppers.
He's also the voice of David Thanatos from the Disney television series Gargoyles.
And the writing team.
Well, there's a thing, Joe, but that show is practically a Star Trek reunion.
But anyway, and as for the writing team, oh boy, it was co-written. The story was co-written by a guy named Peter Hewitt, who had previously written stuff, or wrote and directed stuff such as Thunderpants. He also directed the first Garfield movie.
Oh,
and he was also a director on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh, I like Bogus Journey, actually. Huh.
And William Osborne, the guy who was behind such classics as The Scorpion King and Stop or My Mum Will Shoot.
Were those good?
What do you think?
I'm legit asking.
Not from what I can tell, though. Oh, and even better, guys. The other screenwriter, a guy named Michael McCullers, would later go on to write The Boss Baby.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
So as you can tell, we're in for a treat.
Well, let's see. The movie was a box office failure. On a budget of $57 million, it grossed $28.3 million.
In fact, the only reason this movie was $57 million in the first place, it was originally going to be like 60, but because of how Jonathan Frakes shoots his productions, he managed to cut $3 million off the budget. But even then, it was still a flop.
And the reception was absolutely rancid.
Yeah, from critics and fans of the show. For reasons that you will see right now, actually. So let's get started. Start before the Universal logo. In 3, 2, 1, click.
Universal. Even before Comcast bought you out, you were doing some not so savory things. Now, that's not to say that, a lot of film companies haven't done some shady stuff. Pretty much all of the big boys are guilty of it at some point. But we've been having quite a look at Universal screwing over franchises, doing stuff like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which, well, kind of ruins a good trend that the Jurassic World franchise was having, screwing over The Wiz in its movie adaptation, and now this.
So, apparently this movie was going for a lot of development hell.
Oh wait,
Production started in the mid 1990s, and Peter Hewitt, who I mentioned, co-wrote the story, was originally supposed to direct it, and he was actually a fan of the show.
so Dwarves, tell me, were Thunderbirds in the same universe as stuff like Captain Scarlet or any other shows?
Nah, not really. It was just made by the same guy.
Okay, so for once, Universal weren't going to try and make a expanded cinematic universe.
Nah. Oh, and by the way, the name. Don't get too used to hearing the name International Rescue, because for some reason, International Rescue is also the actual name of a group, and they got into a bunch of legal trouble. So you only hear the name like once or twice, and for the most part, they're actually named after the machines they use, the Thunderbirds.
So tell me, Dibs, what is your history with this movie and this franchise?
Oh, back in the 90s, they played Thunderbirds on BBC Two a lot.
Oh,
Okay,
Bill
I will admit,
Paxton.
actually,
Bill Paxton.
this rendition of the Thunderbirds theme is actually really good.
And hey, the cast looks promising. Bill Paxton, Anthony Edwards. Those are some top-notch actors. Ooh, Brady Corbet.
The theme tune was originally
Hopefully there'll be no
composed.
twisters in here.
The theme tune was originally composed by Barry Gray, who worked with Jerry Anderson a lot during most of his career. And the music for this film was done by Ramin Djawadi and Hans Zimmer.
Huh, also
And
nice.
Ben Kingsley. Okay. I'm mostly here for two reasons, audience. One, the Dweb said he wanted me here because this movie is apparently aimed at people who are not Thunderbirds fans for reasons that I've yet to understand. And the other primary reason is exactly because of what Dweb just told me, because this is when it comes to media, one of the things that I'm particularly really makes me shake my head when it comes to media is when someone, for some reason, does some kind of sequel or reboot or whatever of a franchise, and instead of actually, catering to the actual franchise's odd fan base, instead they try to reinvent it to please people like me, who may not be necessarily fans. And I don't understand why companies do this, because I have yet to see that work well. To be honest, for everybody. So
I do like the music, though. Then again, it's Hans Zimmer, so of course.
Well, Hans Zimmer didn't make this theme. It was made back in the 60s.
Well, okay,
Just
but
rearranged it.
But it seems like this is a good rendition, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm here to say if I'm here to basically try to see let's see how you say if this one is yet another casualty of that stupid trend.
This is Alan Tracy, who for some reason goes to school.
Wow, these are the best looking puppets I've ever seen. They look real.
Yeah, in case one change they made is that Alan Tracy for some reason goes to a regular art school, even though he didn't do that in the show, because you see in this version, Alan Tracy being the youngest, isn't allowed to go on missions with the rest of his family. It has to go to school.
I've seen this kid somewhere.
Even though in the show he was pretty much on equal billing with all his other brothers.
Dwebs, where has this actor been? Because I think he looks familiar.
Brady Corbett.
I think I might have seen this. Either that, or I've seen any other random generic American teenage actors who just look pretty and are completely bland.
Brady Corbett. Let's see. Oh yeah, he played Derek Huxley, the son of Jack Bauer the son of Jack Bauer's new girlfriend in the first 6 episodes of the 5th season of the television series 24.
Also, to be fair, the Tracy brothers did have American accents in the show, so...
Yeah, that fits then.
Oh, hi, Jonathan Frakes' wife.
So, was, the idea of a Thunderbird show, it was a multicultural group, members from all across the world and whatnot?
Well, there's the family who are all white, and their friends slash relatives are of different races.
Well, I mean, I guess so far they seem to have gotten the idea of a show, people in cool vehicles helping people with, well, stuff that just goes wrong.
Don't expect too much of that.
So let me guess. His parent character, whatnot, is going to end up killed, and he'll have to take their place as the new successor.
No.
Huh. Surprising.
Yeah, basically, Thunderbird 2 is the biggest vehicle of the bunch, right over the Thunderbird 5, but that's a space satellite. Basically, they put different stuff in there depending on the needs of the mission. Even another Thunderbird at some point later on in the movie.
Interesting.
It's interesting. The most successful part of this film was the song was the tie-in song to this movie from Busted.
Let me guess. It won all the awards and all that?
Not really, but it was a lot more beloved by fans than the actual movie. Does that work? Firing a missile at a fire extinguishes it?
If it's a suppressing fire, one that's meant to smother it, it can potentially work.
To be fair, has this franchise ever really been known for realism?
Well, I mean, their puppets try to save other puppets.
So, yeah. But then again, at the same time, this also brings up the question, like, seriously, if you're going to just try to retain the silliness from the show, but without the puppets, it becomes a whole nother thing, because, like, with puppets, it's just inherently silly by concept, so you buy it more. When you're doing something like this with live action, it just comes across as one of those generic mid-2000s kids live action movies. The kind of stuff you would see from Disney Channel and stuff like that.
That's the biggest problem with this movie. That action scene you saw earlier, that's the only time you'll see the whole of International Rescue actually rescuing people.
Why?
Why?
Why do some of them get kidnapped and then we have to save the others?
Because for some reason they decided to make this film a Spy Kids knockoff.
Oh.
But I thought this was supposed to be Thunderbirds.
Okay, I can actually explain this.
One thing I'll be fair. Lady Penelope and Parker, they're the best parts of this movie. They're the only actors who managed to get their characters on the show more or less accurate.
Also, that car looks flipping awesome.
Although I think it also helps that apparently, at least according to TV tropes, Lady Penelope and Parker's dialogue was written by somebody else. Uncredited, of course.
But anyway, in regards to
this was written by a guy named Richard Curtis.
In regards to the Spy Kids thing, I can explain why this would do that. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of films in the early 2000s really felt like they were trying to riff off of Spy Kids because Spy Kids was incredibly popular. It was a movie that worked with both the adults and the kids thanks to its risque humor, but also letting the kids be, the main source of the action and being the ones to get to save their awesome spy parents. That said, here's the thing. Later movies didn't understand the formula that you needed. For one, you need, top-notch actors, memorable, and then you need good charismatic kids to go with. you
so
see,
England beat a wonder.
so tell me, Dwibs, are the kids in here as endearing as Junie and Carmen?
No.
Oh, this could be a problem then.
I don't understand. So let me get this straight. You wanted to make a kids movie, and you made it a Spy Kids knockoff because that was what was popular at the time. And then why are we attaching the Thunderbirds name onto this?
You kind of just answered your own question.
Like that's a Vinjova. You don't even need to attach the Thunderbirds name to this because this is mostly just popular in the UK anyway. What? So what's even the point? If you're not gonna actually adapt the fucking Thunderbirds, why even bother putting its name on the movie? Because it's not like that. I mean, normally if this was a popular franchise all over the world, then yeah, that would make more sense, despite it being still scummy. But
Hi, Ben Kingsley.
I'm trying to find out the logic behind the making of this movie, and I cannot find it. It makes no sense to me.
Pedro, I can easily find it. Money.
Well, I get that, but okay. In that case, why not call it Spy Teens or something like that? You know, like to properly cater to the Spy Kids audience.
Rule number 1 about trying to catch off the popular trend. Never make it too obvious how much you're trying to riff off the trend, especially in the title. That is like a recipe for failure in that regard.
Tell that to Free Ninjas.
God, what was Free Ninjas trying to riff off on?
Rip off both TMNT and Home Alone.
Okay. See, to their credit, people probably would have associated that more with Home Alone as opposed to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Basically, Shiroi, they're ninjas trained by an old man, aka,
Yes.
and they're raised by the old man and everything. And later, there's bad guys, and they ruin their plans with Home Alone style traps. And before you say we're just being cynical and shit, Shiroi, they advertise it on the DVD. The movie's DVD literally has the review of a critic saying, and I quote, mixes TMNT with Home Alone.
Okay.
And they put that review quote on the cover.
Okay.
Another weird trait of the movie when it comes to characterization. Yes, Brains is a nerd. He does not have a stutter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Pedro. Let's be real, though. The Home Alone trend was definitely an absolute monster of a thing back then. Like,
oh, I'm aware of that. That's not the issue. I'm just surprised that they're so blatant about it. You know,
I guess
putting the review quote on the DVD cover itself.
Okay, I can also explain that. In that case, it was the popular thing to do, so of course it would be considered a positive trait of sorts because people love those movies. So saying them replicated but not completely copied would be the hip thing to do.
Sure. Regardless, though, okay, you want to make money, but you want to do it by cashing in on the Spy Kids money train. Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but yeah, you know.
I get the feeling that the Spy Kids thing probably came on later after this movie started production because, like Dweebs mentioned, you mentioned that this movie started production in like the 90s or something.
Mid 90s, but I should get back to the story. Basically, Alan is rather envious that he can't pilot a Thunderbird, so he's just saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna try and start up a Thunderbird.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see what
I'm sure this is gonna go so well.
Out of this. So is Glasses Kid like his brother or something?
Glasses Kid is Brains' son, who is a made-up invention for this movie.
Oh, I see. So let me guess, the two kid characters were made because of the Spy Kids angle, weren't they?
Oh no, Alan is a character from the show. Also, yeah, and so is Tintin, this time played by Vanessa Hudgens.
Hey, Gabriella.
I guess they thought that if they're gonna go with the Spy Kids angle, he needed a friend?
So basically, if I understood correctly, this movie's well, at the very least, the final product. I get that it started development in the 90s, but clearly something changed mid-development.
No, duh.
Well, yeah, I know. So Fantasy Ground, we're trying to basically cash in on what was hip with the kids at the time. High School Musical.
What?
By putting it in the
Pedro, High School Musical was not a thing yet.
I wasn't? When did it come out?
Let me check.
This is
Whoa!
like
2007, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
that late?
2007.
Oh,
Oh, I was right. Huh.
I was under the impression that it came out somewhere in 2003 or something.
Alan doesn't know how to work a Thunderbird.
No, I at least remember being in the latter years of secondary school when it came out. So
Okay. You're just off by a year. It was 2006, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely after this movie.
Okay, fine. So this is Vanessa Hudgens before she got famous.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I could have told you that she looks way younger here than she does in High School Musical.
Yeah, she got briefly famous and then Sucker Punch destroyed her career.
Damn.
Okay, one thing I've never understood, that thing on Thunderbird 1, it was fired onto there by one of the guys at the mine who that's a tracking device. I couldn't even notice that.
Of course, the obvious Cassandra truthing. Oh, the son tries to tell his dad something that may be fishy, but the dad is like, "Oh, you disobeyed my orders, so I'm not going to listen to you whatsoever. Even though I probably should for the sake of, preventing whatever tragedy is going to happen."
You know, I get the feeling.
Oh, of course, typical you're grounded. You need to grow up. Okay, I've almost got I've almost got the cliche bingo.
Yeah, I've literally seen this scene in a million other movies.
Okay. So here's how it goes. Dad, I noticed something strange. Son, you disobeyed my orders. But Dad, no, son, you disobeyed my orders. But Dad, it cannot prevent a tragedy. You're grounded. You never listen to me. Storms out of the room. Serious? Oh, let me guess. Dead mother.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the mom was dead in the show.
Fair enough, but man, the way the movie just zoomed in on the camera of the photo there. So,
That's
yeah.
Thunderbird 5.
So again, let me guess. The son has to help rescue his dad, or he has to work together with his dad, and both generations need to understand each other, yada, yada, yada.
You're right on one of those.
Neat.
I get the feeling this is one of those movies where you could have easily renamed Thunderbirds to any kind of generic superhero agency name, and the movie would function no differently.
Okay, but okay, movie. We can tell from the picture that his wife's died. You have to tell it us again in dialogue.
Oh, goody! A needless exposition, my favorite. Wow. Wow, this is such
Didn't Boss Baby have the same problem?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
I don't recall Boss Baby. Oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't recall Boss Baby having this much needless exposition.
So am I right?
Sorry?
I get the feeling this is one of those movies where you could have easily renamed Thunderbirds to any kind of generic superhero / secret agent / whatever name, and the movie would function no different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there you go.
Again,
I already know what beast I'm facing here.
I mean, I kind of guessed that from the start of the movie. Whoa! Oh, really? Sound effects?
It's mostly because...
Okay, Drips. Were there cartoonish sound effects in the original?
No.
So they're trying to be even more cartoony than the version with puppets?
It's kind of like how Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 has cartoony sound effects, despite the first movie didn't have it, but whatever. Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the thing, Joe. But for the first, we're 20 minutes into this thing now. For these first 20 minutes, this thing could have been anything. Like literally, like this
Well,
looks like
okay.
If you showed me this movie without the title and you told me this is one of those many generic live action movies that Disney Channel made, I would believe you.
Honestly, even around this time, the movies that Disney Channel were making were better than this. Oh, hey, Ben Kingsley. Oh, wait, no, one of his henchmen, I'm guessing. There's Ben Kingsley. Oh no, she has a big butt and is ugly? Dwibs, is this a character trait of whoever that woman is?
No, she's not in the show.
Oh.
The Hood is the character played by Ben Kingsley, but the others are made up.
Fair enough, you know, henchmen and all that.
Again, I still think we could have easily made all the money we wanted from the Spy Kids audience without, for no reason, bringing in the Thunderbirds into this.
Pedro, you're not thinking with the mentality of getting the most money possible. Of course, using brand name recognition helps. Now, Dwibs.
Yeah.
Is there anything to suggest that at some point during the making of this movie they were going to make an actual more, you know, Thunderbirds movie, but it got screwed over during production?
Maybe, although apparently from what I read off TV Tropes, it was apparently going to be worse.
Seriously?
Same plot, adult dialogue, and they were going to make a villain that wasn't the Hood.
Oh. So I guess in this way this actually...
It's going to be called... There's apparently going to be a guy named Aristotle Spode.
So in a way, I guess this actually does resemble Thunderbirds more than the original vision.
That's
Good God.
sad. But that's the thing. Like I said, I get that, Joe. Here's the thing: Thunderbirds is only brand power of Thunderbirds only really works in the UK because. I mean, I can't speak for America, but I can tell you, Jova, if you try to sell a Thunderbirds movie over here, most people will tell you, Thunder what?
To be fair, every show's got to start every show's got to try and, every show or movie's got to try and start somewhere with, you know, getting itself more recognized outside the country. Like, you know, look at James Bond.
That would be fine. That would be fine if they actually made a Thunderbirds movie, which, according to Dribbs, this is not.
Well, again, it kind of goes without saying in this regard. That's one of the reasons why this movie failed.
Yeah, check retros. So, this is a Bond villain lair?
No, Pedro, these are the good guys.
Even the 60s Bond
Pedro,
villains wouldn't have no lair this silly.
Pedro, these aren't the Bond villains, so they're the good guys, so it can't be a Bond villain lair.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, so let me guess. While the adults are away, the kids will have to watch over the island while the villains try to attack.
Are you sure you haven't seen this movie before, Jova?
I know this formula.
Yeah, this is like every cliche mid-2000s live-action kids movie ever made.
I'll just say it, Sky High did this so much better. Hell, Sky High was a good film. Well, yeah, true, that's a thing, though. Disney Channel's movies were good until, like, I'm gonna say 2012, maybe. And even then...
Do they have any...
And even then,
yes.
we still do get some good Disney Channel movies every now and then. You're asking, Shory?
Do they have any defenses on this island at all, or do they just leave the kids?
Oh, wait, no, there's this one guy, Brains, who they left.
That looks like the rocket from Tintin Destination Moon.
Don't worry, you didn't screw everything up. Thank God we averted that cliche at least.
So, let me guess. Vanessa Hudgens and Pretty Boy here get together by the end of this movie.
they haven't had
Can't
any
remember, actually.
romantic interaction, so that would make no
Like
goddamn
that,
sense.
Jova, like that would stop bad writers. Dwips?
Actually, I can't remember.
Well, let's see. Am I right or not? Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Jova, like by the end of Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, everybody gets a love interest. A horse gets a love interest. Quasimodo gets a love interest.
Oh,
They're
shoot,
like,
I forgot about the horse.
Does the
getting
villain get a love
interest.
interest, or does he still love
No.
himself?
Well, he's the villain, Shiroi, so obviously not.
Of course, sure.
Well, it's like I say, he also loves himself too much. I remember at least that.
Pretty much, yeah. But that's the thing, Pedro. Let's not forget. Literally, I'm pretty sure the only reason that movie was made just because to give Quasimodo a girlfriend.
Yeah, and that's exactly the problem, because...
Also, even without the Tracy brothers on there, you think Tracy Island would have better security?
Yeah. Never mind the fact that the first movie was all about, learning to love yourself or anything. Yeah, whatever.
There's nothing wrong with trying to give Quasimodo a love interest, but the fact that, well, okay, look, even if the sequel was made solely just to give him a girlfriend, the least they could have done was actually, properly flesh out the characters, which they don't. Good God, they don't.
That's the thing, Jova. Like, what I love about it is how Madeline at the beginning is incredibly scared and runs away from his face. But then when she sees how Quasimodo's really good with kids, immediately swoons. Like, wow. You're easily convinced, aren't you? Anyway, God, this movie's kind of boring. Like, it's mostly just people
I know
talking
his
about
wife's
nothing.
dead! Ugh.
So it's up to the younger generation to save the day.
Why, yes.
Oh, I see the British are in on the joke about their dental care kind of sucking.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose if I can give this movie one credit, hiring Ben Kingsley to be the villain, yeah, that's ace casting. Well, okay, Dwibs. Would you say that their portrayal of the Hood works?
Sort of.
Okay. Ha! They faked us out.
Oh yeah, guys, I guess the joke coming up in a bit from the Hood.
He makes him do something silly.
Get it? Because this show was
Yeah,
was
we
based on a
wish.
show using
That's the thing.
puppets. Again, that's the thing. The puppets moved better than whatever the hell he was doing there.
Isn't it kind of redundant for a place on a secret island to have a secret layer on it?
Double security.
I guess. No, that's negative! It's a trap!
So, yeah. Instead of a film filled with different varying rescues from the International Rescue, you get Spy Kids.
So I was right. It's gonna be it's all about the kids instead of, you know, the actual Thunderbirds.
I mean, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. This Thunderbirds wasn't really a show made for kids specifically, was it?
It was.
Oh, it was. Oh.
Well, for families in general, but mostly for kids, yeah.
You don't even wear a hood. Why do they call him the Hood?
Yeah, why is he called the Hood? Was
That I don't know, actually.
Oh, so I'm guessing that was also a silly thing from the show too, then.
It's a menacing sounding name.
I guess.
I mean, something like Red Hood, that sounds menacing, but just Hood?
Well, Red Hood's taken, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even the Hood would have been a little better, but
Oh.
not much, but...
Okay, so we're a bunch of kids on an island with supervillains, and I'm assuming Hood is supposed to be some really big bad bout of news, so... Gosh dang it. No, there's no way that will fool them.
God, this.
Sir, did his sneeze sound a little bit more high-pitched than his voice would suggest? I am in no way setting myself up for disappointment.
A failure at all.
Just like a British villain. Why didn't you people bring astronaut suits for something on space just in case of something like this?
So, yeah, Thunderbird 5, along with 3, are on a re-entry course with the Earth.
I can't believe he's buying this. Or...
No,
There he is.
apparently
Oh.
not.
she is.
Okay. You know what? Kudos to the... Oh, that got him to let go. Like, he can punch
Well, he
right...
got bitten.
I know, but he was able to punch through what I'm assuming to be that solid matter, so...
Titanium door, yeah.
And yet a bite is what hurts him? Enough to let go? Shouldn't it have broken her teeth more?
One thing I should
Depends.
mention as well.
I don't know what the gloves are made of, or whatever.
William Osborne's writing career ended with a 1-2 punch in 2004.
Oh.
This film and Fat Slags.
Oh!
Hmm.
That's quite the finale?
So, career killers all abound.
So, Dwebs.
Hmm?
Is Vanessa Hudgens only here to stand here and there and look pretty?
Well, yes and no.
Ooh, a surprise in store.
Remember, the Hood's her uncle, apparently.
Wait. Really? They mentioned... Oh, that's right! With her father saying, I thought he was dead.
Yeah, that's.
Vanessa, I am your uncle. So, what are they going to do with the fact that Vanessa happens to be the niece of the greatest evil mastermind in this franchise, the Hood?
Well, you'll see.
Okay. I'm guessing these were vehicles on the show?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Firefly is, not the Thunderizer.
Oh snap, Gabriella's back in slime! Oh god, can you imagine if that was acid and it was burning them alive?
Is this what you meant as? Her shooting that water cannon thing, is that her primary contribution?
I guess.
Oh, okay.
Let's just wait and
So,
see.
so I was still right. Okay.
Well, again, to be fair, she does more stuff later on, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, then okay then.
Let's just wait and see. Oh, wow, that did something to that door. It lasered it up good. Huh? So literally, the purpose of that machine is to fire out slimy goo.
Oh my god, these two are so bland in their delivery. Well, then again, like they're literally generic pretty boy and generic pretty girl.
Oh.
Access denied.
That's not true. That's impossible.
So blah, 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 blah. I'm not even gonna bother.
And he's able to resist his mind control?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, he doesn't need Alan to open the door. He just opens it himself.
I suppose he just has a hard-on for using mind control. Well, it looks like it may be the end of the line for our trio.
You know, for a movie like this to even be remotely entertaining, it should be a bit more over the top in its tone. Like, for considering they're doing such a silly concept to begin with, you'd think they would ask the actors to, you know, be a bit more, you know, over the top in their delivery. Just go all out, just be all ham. This is a ridiculous movie. Embrace it, and yet they're delivering everything in such a deadpan, straight way that it just.
So the idea they have to get rid of him is to fire Thunderbird 1's rockets.
Well, fry them alive.
Fry.
Well, Dwips, I can tell you this. As you yourself told me, this didn't please Thunderbirds fans, and as a non-fan, I can tell you, it's not pleasing me either. At all.
Also, Joe, believe it or not, the guy playing one of the henchmen, you've actually seen him before.
He seems familiar.
He was a gunner in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Nice.
And he was a guy named Grom in Jumanji: The Next Level.
Also nice. So, at least his career didn't die with this movie.
And he was also in a few episodes of Game of Thrones, so if nothing else, he had a better career after this.
Who names their daughter Tintin, anyway?
Sorry, Zova?
Who names their daughter Tintin, anyway?
Wait, her name is Tintin?
Yes. And before you ask, yes, that actually is the name of a character in the show.
Oh.
Was she
Okay,
also a daughter in the show?
So Jerry was a fan of Tintin? Because remember, technically, technically Tintin started in the 40s. So it is possible that he took the name from there.
I suppose Tintin is an actual name, but what a weird name to name your child.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, maybe it's a French name or Belgian name in this case, because That's where the Tintin franchise comes from.
I think Tintin's Chinese in the show. I'll have to
I
check.
can't find anything about it being a name.
Okay, well, at least what the characters had the decent idea to remove something from one of the Thunderbirds so it can't take off in case the villains try and get away.
Okay.
Ugh.
Also, yay, we're back to the best part of the movie.
Nice.
This guy cleaning his car.
So was Lady Penelope like the main female lead of the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
I found one reference to it, but there's no like sources for it or anything.
Oh,
So
what's the
just-
case?
No, it's like I've only found one place listing it as a name, but like again, there's no like citation for it or anything. So
Of course,
so just leave it.
of course, being British. Even when I'm in the tub, I drink tea.
Okay, I got another problem with the movie. The exposition dialogue is extremely unnatural.
See, this is exactly when they do some kind of stereotyping like this. Yeah, that's when you know this was made by Americans.
Actually, no, Pages. This is made by British and Americans.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah. So the British are stereotyping themselves.
Yeah, plenty of countries
The writers of this
self-stereotype
film-
themselves.
But the writers of this film were American,
Still,
and the
though,
director as well.
I mean, still, the team was British and American, and it's not the first time that a country has stereotyped themselves. Oh? Yeah, I can see what you mean about these two being the best thing of this movie.
Well, that's the thing. Other than that bit of weird exposition stuff, they have the best dialogue in the movie, and it helps that it was written by a guy who was uncredited.
Is that the bogus journey guy?
Wait. Ah, that's more like it.
Is it Whips?
Sorry?
The guy who got uncredited. Was that the bogus journey guy that you mentioned earlier?
Well, the guy's name is. Hang on. Let me try and get it up, actually. Can't.
Of course, the nerdy kid is the one who has all the trouble with walking.
The dialogue between Lady Penelope and Parker was written by a guy named Richard Curtis,
Okay then.
Is he British?
who was involved in stuff like Blackadder, Mr. Bean, and the Vicar of Dibley.
Curious, is he British?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, actually, he was born in New Zealand, but his nationality is British.
so then he's technically the one who wrote the scene with her
Oh, yeah,
drinking
okay.
tea in the
One-
tub.
Another inaccuracy, albeit this time an enforced one, was that in the original show, Lady Penelope's pink car, Fab 1, was a Rolls Royce, but Rolls Royce, or rather their parent company, BMW, wouldn't license them the car, so they had to get Ford to make one.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's go. Nope.
Now what?
Actually, it was Alan's friend that came up with that idea.
I guess Alan is the only one he refers to, since I guess he's the only. Is Alan like the only kid whose name he knows?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
Now really the best time.
Where is literally any of this coming from?
Hi.
Poisonous animal. There we go!
It's probably not a good thing when Jova keeps basically guessing every single thing that the movie does.
Honestly, with the kind of movie this one is trying to be, are you surprised?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yep. Tintin has the same powers the uncle does.
Except
Okay.
her eyes are yellow.
Okay, you know what?
So
okay,
was this a thing on the show, Dwibs?
Well, the relationship thing is actually accurate,
Okay.
but I don't remember there being ever any mention of her having powers.
Did the hood have powers?
I don't think so. Again, I can't remember. I can't really remember. He might have done. I'm not sure. But also, Tintin had a bit of an age lift.
Uh-huh.
Again,
in the show, she's in her early 20s. Here, she's like 16.
It's just so weird because when I think Tintin, I think, well,
Yeah.
Well,
Tintin.
actually, yeah, the hood does have powers in the show, so.
Although, to be fair, Pedro, this was also a thing in the original show, so...
Oh, I get that. But remember, Tintin, like I said, Tintin's the first Tintin comic was made in the 40s.
Let's
so
see.
So maybe Jerry was a fan. Who knows?
Is Tintin an actual name? What?
Notice my directing.
Ow.
Yeah, I don't get that bit either.
To show that it hurts?
Because what? Clearly.
Okay, so apparently Tintin is an actual name, supposedly. Let's see what the meaning of it is. Let's see. Apparently in Swedish it means amazing. In French it means fit to wear a crown. Interesting. And apparently it's a name acquainted more with women than with men.
Huh.
So
from which language / country does that name origin from?
let's see.
I'm actually curious at this point and stuff. I actually find that more interesting than the movie. So.
Well, at least it's some good trivia if Joe was able to find something.
Okay, let's see. Apparently it's used in Sweden, Finland, and Norwegian country.
Huh. Interesting.
Let's see. It's also used in Denmark and Greenland, too.
I'm not getting it. Is this movie supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be serious? I'm not really understanding what tone they're going for.
Like, that's the thing. Spy Kids, for the most part, was comedic.
So yeah, that whole bit of them trying to reach the satellite station.
Pointless.
Brilliant. This is one of those movies that sits in that awkward middle ground between tone spectrum, in a sense that it doesn't really seem like it's a comedy, but at the same time it doesn't seem like it's meant to be taken seriously either. So you never really know what exactly you're supposed to get from anything in this movie. Also, could you please zoom out the camera?
But yeah, okay. Spy Kids had, I'd say, just the right mix of serious stuff while being mainly comedic, It had relatively more serious stuff for more of the character-driven moments and some of the more heartfelt scenes here. it felt like a relatively good balance. Spy Kids 2 was kind of leaning again towards more comedic, but that too had its serious moments. Hell, even Spy Kids 3D had something of a balance between serious and comedic and sometimes legit heartbreaking. Then there was Spy Kids 4. We don't like to talk about Spy Kids 4.
Yeah, that's another problem. When you get past being mad at all the odd changes they made to the source material,
This is so by the numbers.
Yeah, we're a year removed from the Spy Kids trilogy at this point. I think many audiences, even if this film wasn't marketed as a Thunderbirds film, they would have been put off by, oh god, Spy Kids again.
This movie's just not engaging or anything. Honestly, I'm just kind of bored because nothing about this movie. First of all, like I said, I can't grasp the tone. You need to set your tone effectively, because if you can't set your tone properly, the audience will feel nothing. Because for those who don't know, tone is how a movie feels. The reason the reason a movie
boy, wacky hijinks involving the wildlife.
Okay. In terms of the tone thing, to be fair to this movie, this wasn't the first time the Thunderbird series had this problem.
Oh, really?
Okay.
The puppet movies had this issue as well.
Well, regardless of whether or not
basically in Thunderbirds Are Go, there's literally there's meant to be a in the middle of all the rescuing they have to do, there's literally a scene where one of the characters has a dream of him going with Lady Penelope to a club on the moon with a song from Cliff Richard.
Weird.
Well, regardless of whether or not it's a franchise problem or just this movie's problem, it doesn't change the fact that it's a problem in this movie.
I will say this. I think my biggest issue is that it does one of the worst things you can do for an adaptation. That is, hey, let's not actually focus on the actual main characters from the franchise and instead focus on some newer characters like their kids or whatnot. And while sure, we do have some set pieces from the franchise, we don't actually see them getting used by the actual characters. It's like if you had a Sonic movie, but instead focused on Chris Thorndike for most of it.
So basically like Halo 5. Boom, psh. Yeah, see, this particular henchman, he's the one that's the more over the top so far. Like,
he seems like just the right.
And that's saying something with it. The other henchman tried to come on to Brains earlier.
This guy seems like the right mix of serious but also comedic. And more so comedic in the sense of how he constantly gets outsmarted, but still doesn't let that deter him.
Yeah, good job, Alan.
Well, damn.
Wah, wah.
You done screwed up, Alan.
You done goofed.
And yeah, stuff them in the fridge.
With their parents. Okay, you know what? Kudos to that guy. He actually does seem like he's trying.
Oh, thank God Lady Penelope and Parker are back again.
So what, is she like more the land-based operative or something?
Well, Fab 1 does have gadgets on it, so...
Okay, so how does the cast dynamic normally work in the cast? Like, you know, each Thunderbird member has like...
The Tracy brothers are basically the Tracy brothers rely on each other as a family a lot.
Yeah.
And Lady Penelope is a close family friend.
Neat.
But yeah, like I was saying, for those who are not familiar with the definitions, tone means literally means how a movie feels. The reason you start a movie like Hunchback of Notre Dame with a dark backstory involving epic choir and a villain literally saying the word send this thing back to hell is to establish that this is going to be a darker type of Disney movie, not your typical Disney movie.
Also, you get Bill Paxton just to stand around in a ship.
How? Just no.
Yeah.
That's like getting Michael Jordan to... Well, okay,
act.
that's like getting Michael Jordan to act, but... I'd say even Michael Jordan was used somewhat better.
He's literally doing the Denver The Last Dinosaur thing.
And I don't talk.
Look out, dudes. These hands are dangerous weapons. Well, at least now we're having goofy action, I guess.
With
That's right.
poorly shot action.
Oh!
Also, yeah, the Hood's just standing there and enjoying the action.
Were the sound effects really necessary?
Because
no.
kids like cartoony sound effects, Jova. Regardless of whether or not they fit. It's like in Land Before Time 14, where they also did that.
Mr. Hood, you want to try and just go ahead and use your mind control abilities?
I still can't believe that series got into double digits.
What series?
Land Before Time.
Land Before Time.
Oh, that.
It was mostly because Shiroi, remember, at the time that Jurassic Park was a big hit, it was 1993. So Universal thought, well, we have a more kiddie dinosaur franchise. Why don't we revive it?
It's funny because they would revive, Land Before Time once again.
For the same reason, yeah.
Hood, are you going to use your...
Oh, now he's starting to use it.
Let me put it this way, Shiroi. As long as Jurassic Park is successful, Land Before Time will keep...
I know, Alan, I can see that.
It's just in case you're blind, Dibs.
I'm not. Hell, she voiced zero blindness to any of us. I bet she's insulted.
Are you
Pretty
insulted,
much.
Shiroi?
Whoa!
I mean, I already didn't like the movie, so...
It's just boring. Oh,
yeah, I don't hate it. It's
how is
just
a movie
there.
How is a movie filled with silly spies and cartoony sound effects boring?
It's because it's done so cynically. The problem is
that it fails to set the tone. Like I said, if you don't set the tone, then the movie doesn't feel like anything.
Okay, forget setting the tone. Let's think about the actual stakes here. So the stakes are that the bad guys want to use the vehicles to rob banks, apparently. Even though I'm pretty sure they could rob banks if, Mr. Hood just uses his mind control abilities and, makes a withdrawal. Like, okay, if he wanted to use him to take over the world, I get it, but Dwibs, let me know if I missed anything, but it seems like literally their motivation is just using them to rob banks. Am I missing something here?
Well, there's the
Dwibs?
guidance processor back.
Dwibs?
Yes, Jova?
Am I missing something, or is it really like all he wants to do is just rob banks?
That's his plan for the movie, yeah. Basically, he's going to be using the Thunderbirds, who he's angry towards for not saving his life, as an act of revenge against them.
Wouldn't better revenge have been just take over the world? You know what? Maybe taking over the world would have been too cliche.
Well, I mean, and using the vehicles that didn't save him, to get revenge on them and frame them
That
for
much.
bank robbery.
Okay, that much is somewhat clever. Yeah. Okay, fair enough on that. That said, though, I will admit, though, the whole stakes thing do feel a bit mundane with how down to earth isn't the right word, but it feels kind of small. Like, I get it, a lot of the stuff is sort of, kept to this one island, so it doesn't feel like that big a scale. Like, imagine if, per se, the Incredibles movie, which, oh god, I think Incredibles came out the same year.
Yes, it did.
Imagine if Incredibles was kept to just the one island there. Like, we didn't have the stakes of a giant robot attacking the city and whatnot, It might not have felt like as epic a movie as it was, with them literally saving the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna, for life, not immediately in the future, but for future picks, I might just pick the puppet movies.
Were they any good?
You probably should have picked those the first two movies first.
Well, let's get the worst one out of the way.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, they will give people like me more context.
Well, Pedro, honestly, Pedro, those movies have their own problems.
I was actually gonna ask, like, do we need to see the show to get those? Because those are apparently direct sequels to the show.
Well, the show's a bit long, and all the episodes. Well, not long exactly. Let me check how many episodes there are. There's 32 episodes, but they're all 50 minutes long.
Okay, I get that, but do we need to have seen the show to get stuff in those movies?
A little bit, yeah.
So Alan literally just gave the guy what he wanted.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Lady Penelope and Parker's heads were getting crushed.
True, yeah, but usually this is around the time where we show that the kid had some sort of backup plan. Guess not. Oh, well, I guess they averted a cliche there. So, does this mean Penelope and Parker get to save the day then? If so, kudos. Look away. A wire from her bra?
Kids movie.
Shiroi, do you have any
This one-
feedback on this one?
I'm too bored to be turned on by this.
Shiroi,
Yeah.
do you have any feedback on using the wire of one's bra to save the day like this movie apparently is?
It's just a wire.
Let me check. Yeah, it's bored. It's not moving. So
It's just a wire.
I'm not.
Congratulations, you bored it, movie. Well, there's about 30 minutes left in this movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, in reference to Jonathan Frakes' other movies, I think Star Trek Insurrection is more engaging than this.
Wow.
At least in Insurrection, there's stuff to get mad at.
True. He spoke without stuttering. Oh yeah, that's right. We have Bill Paxton in this movie. Maybe we should use him.
Yeah, so that's the thing, In the movie with Bill Paxton, he decided to use Vanessa Hudgens more.
And not only that, this is, I assume it was supposed to be an action sort of movie?
Guess. Oh, and by the way, FAB, there's actually a phrase they use at the show to confirm they've received an instruction loud and clear.
Neat. What?
Don't you mean international rescue? Oh, wait.
Of course you totally can, son.
Yes, we can.
Don't drag a bomb into this,
gone
please.
down to Bob the Builder.
I need to do something to keep my brain active.
So, it's off to London.
And it's up to the kids to stop the bad guy.
Well, how about this, Joba? Here. I'll reference Roland, since he's White Obama. So...
Wait, why doesn't Lady Penelope go with them? Shouldn't she have some experience with these vehicles?
And especially considering she's from England.
And considering how she was the one who got them out of the locked cellar. Seriously?
By the way, keep an eye out for another reference to the puppet show.
Never mind. Penelope is coming with them. Though she's not
you see that puppet hand there?
Yes.
That was another reference to the show.
See?
Cute.
It's totally Thunderbirds. See?
We had a puppet hand on a string.
That just feels out of place.
It's like making a God of War movie and saying, "See, there's a guy who is pale white in skin in the background. See, it's totally God of War." Like,
oh, look at that! We get to use Thunderbird 1 to chase down Thunderbird 2. Okay. I guess to be fair, now it feels like there's actually some form of stakes outside of the island.
yeah.
So what's he gonna?
And we're like what, 20 minutes away from the end of this thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god. This is a great cure for kids' insomnia.
All right.
Mommy, I can't sleep. I'm way too excited about tomorrow. Well, it's okay. Here, son. Here, watch this movie. It's called Thunderbirds. 5 minutes later, he's sleeping. There you go. Problem solved.
Oh, look, the London Eye. Hey, kids. Look forward to seeing the London Eye and Monster Family as well. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
As well as in Fantastic Four, Rise of a Silver Surfer.
Yep.
Well, actually, wasn't the first movie the one that came out around this time?
No, Pedro, I'm talking about movies involving the London Eye.
Oh, the London Eye. Okay. Oh, the London Eye. Oh, I man.
How did she get there that fast?
Teleportation, yeah? I don't know.
Mommy, this movie's boring.
Then go to sleep.
The Mole. That's the name of the vehicle.
Okay, so...
Not the bike.
How cold-hearted of you.
Yeah, how could Oh no, drill! I can't even muster the excitement to hum that.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you do it for me. There you go. Ugh. Oh no, Big Ben! Why is it Big Ben that always gets fucked in these things?
Actually,
because
no,
it's an
Big
important
Ben
landmark.
Actually, no, Big Ben's not gonna get fucked.
Instead, they're going after the monorail system.
London doesn't have a monorail system.
Well, apparently this movie gave it one.
So yeah, the Hood's gonna go right through it because, you know, we're not gonna be destroying it. The Thunderbirds are.
all on his way to, I guess, going to the bank.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Landing sequence error. So you're going even faster.
Hey, Tintin, do you have any contributions to this whole situation? Have anything to say? No? Okay, then. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I still, regardless of whether or not she did stuff, most of the time she's just there sitting there looking pretty.
Yeah, she was technically there to do stuff. The problem is that it was not substantial stuff. Like, I'd say she was more like what,
for the most part.
she was more like what you called her, you know, overall generic as opposed to useless. So, oh god. So Pedro, which do you think is the worst fate, being generic or being completely useless?
That's a tough one.
Oh, guys, don't worry. Don't worry, guys. This is totally a Thunderbirds movie. They're gonna do a rescue.
Oh my god, so let me guess, they're gonna rush to use all the Thunderbirds now in the movie, aren't they?
That's the thing, Dwebs. There are plenty of other movies with rescue forces. So that's not enough. Like, you have to have actual recognizable traits of that are unique to the Thunderbirds, maybe? No?
Well, we've got the vehicles.
So now we're going to be using the Thunderbird we haven't seen yet, Thunderbird
Okay.
4.
Okay, so do these Thunderbird vehicles actually look like the ones from the show, at least, Dwebs?
They're reminiscent.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, there's the thing though. I get the public calling them the Thunderbirds, but why would they call each other that?
They
I'm
didn't in
guessing
the
it
show?
didn't happen in the show.
Well, I know there were those legal troubles with the name International Rescue, but you can still use them on the ships.
I guess they didn't want to risk those copyrights.
I don't know.
Look at all this gold.
9 more banks.
Oh my god, this movie's gonna keep going until they rob 9 banks.
No. I can tell you that much, Pedro.
Ugh.
So, Dwebs, which Thunderbird is your favorite?
2.
Ah, the big green one. Is that for just this movie or the show as well?
The franchise as a whole.
Okay.
Although thankfully this wasn't the end of the Thunderbirds franchise. I think it was in 2016. Let me check.
Oh god, imagine drowning in one of the dirtiest rivers in the entire world.
Yeah. In 2015, they launched a new show called Thunderbirds Are Go.
Huh, was it good?
From the bits and pieces I've seen of it, yeah. Basically, it was an interesting hybrid of CG character models with real sets.
Ah, so like what Dinosaur did.
Yeah, I guess.
Neat.
Oh, see, Tintin's doing something.
Shouldn't Penelope have done this though? Whatever.
So how can she hold her water for that long? And how is she not dying from all the disgusting stuff in the Thames?
Come on, Tintin. Guys, I think she'll be able to do this.
Are you sure about that?
Well, yeah,
Well,
we just saw it.
I pretty much have called everything else in this movie. Why not?
That's because you've seen this movie before, Jova.
No,
You might
I
not
have.
seen the movie,
Oh.
but you've seen the movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
You know the
okay, I
formula.
get
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with Good Dinosaur. Have you seen any movie in the past 20 years? Then you've seen The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, but at least a good dinosaur is an original piece, not taking the name of a show and
Well, there you go. Then.
reducing the main premise to just like the beginning and this bit.
Well, there you go, Dwebs. Now you know how Shirley feels about Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. There you go.
Oh, sure.
I still think Chicken Little's worse. Though.
So sure, I take it you have a bone to pick with Hunchback of Notre Dame too?
Just because of the movie it came after.
Believe it or not, guys, I can tell you what is the absolute worst.
Like you said, because of the movie that came after?
No, the movie It came after.
Oh, okay, never mind then. I misheard you. Go ahead, Joel.
I can tell you what Disney probably considered the worst Disney animated sequel. Disney Enchanted Tales, Follow Your Dreams.
I don't think I know what
is
that?
that?
Let me put this into perspective. It was sort of a double sequel. It packaged a sequel to Aladdin Free and a sequel to the most sacred of all Disney animated films, Sleeping Beauty. That movie was reportedly the movie that finally got John Lasseter and company to go, okay, that's it. This is the last straw and canned Disney animated sequels in general.
Actually,
and that movie is so bad that it's not on Disney Plus.
Wow, really?
I'm not kidding.
Okay, I'm guessing that movie is it one of those things where they're trying to make people forget it exists? Because I don't think I've seen that one.
They're trying to make you forget it exists. Let me put it like this. It was that bad received. Hell, the original voice actress of Aurora pretty much voiced her own discontent about it as well. Oh, so that's what Penelope was doing. All right.
I'm actually curious about that. I might watch that after this.
Wow. Good job, Lady Penelope.
Hey, Dad, we still have like 17 minutes left in the movie. You know, we've been getting so much exposition. Why not get more exposition about how they failed to save the hood, or more about that? Like, of all the things that gets explained, I feel like that one doesn't get as much explanation.
You can't save everybody.
That's the big moral we've been building up to.
I mean, there's still a bit more of the movie to go. Also, I love the quote Jerry Anderson gave about this movie.
Go ahead.
Let me get it up on TV Tropes because it's listed there, just to be absolutely sure I'm getting it right.
Okay, that was.
He called it the biggest load of crap I've seen in my entire life.
Wow.
However, his ex-wife, Sylvia, actually liked the movie.
Huh.
Honey, let's talk.
Well, to be fair, they're already divorced, so...
I was going to say, wow, divorcing over that.
Thunderbirds was your and your ex-husband's baby. I mean, unfortunately, both Jerry and Sylvia have passed away.
That's exactly it, Shiroi. Like you said, baby, honey, you're leading our baby towards a path that I just cannot agree with. I'm gonna ask for full custody.
Oh my God, really? So he's literally one of those old. So he's literally one of those old-fashioned. Oh, I can't hit a lady, even if she is a villain bent on world domination or whatnot. I can't hit her or take her out. It just wouldn't be gentlemanlike.
What were you gonna say, Major?
Well, okay, but I will, however, say, to be fair.
Okay. Of course, the crotch kick. Silly me! I nearly forgot about that usual trope from children's movies.
Yes,
Okay. I'm not gonna be that harsh on that because Eternal Diva did that as well, so I'm not bothered, and I find it funny there, so I'm not bothered.
Oh my God! Bill Paxton is actually getting to face off against the bad guy.
There's nothing inherently wrong with a kick to the crotch of the bad guy. It's just that, you know, this movie's so boring. It just doesn't even come across as just satisfying. Like if it's a villain you hate, then it's satisfying. But to answer to his, okay, Jerry, don't get me wrong. I find this movie a fucking slog to get through. But how many movies have you actually seen, Jerry? Because I can point you to a shit ton of movies that are far more painful to sit through than this one.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was a movie based off a show he made. Along with his wife, ex-wife. So...
Oh, he can do that.
Yes.
Whatever. It doesn't. The movie's almost over. Let's just.
Really? You fell for that trick?
She's just like Malcolm's daughter in Lost World. She can do acrobatic crap.
Which is also made by Universal.
And okay, so what are his powers? He can mind control and also use the Force too?
Sure, why not?
Why didn't he just pull the chip out of his hands then if he could do that?
Because shut up, that's why. Alan, are you alright, Alan?
Alright, he gets weaker.
I'm sorry, Dad. My blandness is starting to weigh on me.
Who knows, by the end of this, you might be able to fit your son in a nice little pine box.
And by the way, make sure you talked about him developing some sort of a personality, because
I don't think he'll be able to develop a personality when he's chopped into ribbons. Oh no! A staring contest! A literal flipping staring contest! And oh, that did that, I guess. Okay. But I will anyway.
I will not kill you, but I do not have to save you.
Actually, that Pedro, he literally did just save him.
I know. I was just making a joke.
I did nothing.
So, was he like gonna get a moral victory if he let him die?
I don't know.
Don't know, and quite frankly, I don't care. The movie's almost over. Let's just be thankful for that.
Oh, setting us up for a sequel, are you, movie?
Yep.
I'm guessing that didn't happen.
Nah, you think? I wonder why.
Can't imagine why, honestly.
Pool party!
Also, apparently, Jonathan Frakes himself made a cameo as a policeman a bit earlier.
How nice.
And yes, he finally learns how to...
Good for you.
Well, I guess it's better than the payoff in After Last Season, where the woman can now raise her arm higher than before. Oh. That's bland even for your standards.
We're getting a sequel. No.
Let me guess, he inducts his son into the Thunderbirds. Like clockwork.
So the only cliche they didn't go with was shipping these two.
Well, they did a bit, actually.
It was just a passing thing. They didn't even kiss.
It's up to the fanfic writers to take over from here.
Sure, does this movie have fan fiction?
Everything has.
Pedro, let us not forget Time and Eternity.
Okay, cool.
No, remember, we had trouble finding
I
even
know.
fan art.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you. Quite right.
And now
yes,
he gets his own
Alan
outfit.
and Thunderbird, just as he was supposed to be in the show, but
I say, Mr. Dweebs, this movie's an
Wait,
isn't it?
So what you're telling me is that Alan was already supposed to be on the Thunderbirds?
yeah, he was already part of International Rescue.
So what, was the idea his father was the one calling from HQ?
I don't know. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, this song's the best. The song's the best overall part of the movie.
Dedicated to the memory of Stephen Lowen. Who
yeah,
is that?
apparently he died dismantling one of the sets.
Ooh. So, is there an after credits scene?
No. So that was Thunderbirds 2004. Pedro, since you're the least familiar with the franchise out of all of us, you go first.
Well, like I said, again, I say, Mr. Dweebs, this movie's an utter ball, isn't it? Okay, as someone who knows nothing about Thunderbirds, all I can do is judge it as a movie. And as a movie, it's just a generic mid-2000s kids live-action movie. Like, the fact that Jova, who grew up on that kind of stuff, could call practically everything that happened in this movie pretty much shows that. So, yeah, and I'm not really a fan of those things anyway, so, yeah, not really helping it there. Okay, first of all, the fact that I cannot understand what the hell tone this movie is. Is it supposed to be serious? Is it supposed to be funny? Because I can't. It sits on this terrible middle ground where it's neither funny nor engaging. It's just awkward and boring. Because I don't know, like, and the characters are bland. The story's ridiculous, which would be fine if the movie was at the very least not taking itself seriously, which it is. So it's there, like, ugh. And because of that, it's just so boring, because the movie is so unengaging. Like, seriously, this movie has absolutely nothing to it, aside from... Actually, I guess it has actors that at the very least say things with conviction. So there's that. I mean, I didn't find Vanessa Hudgens annoying like I did in High School Musical, so there's that. That's all I got. It's this movie's just so utterly boring that and completely devoid of anything entertaining that I'm not even having trouble even describing it. So yeah, if your idea was to quote unquote get me into Thunderbirds, well, guess what? You fucking failed, good sirs and madams and whoever was involved in this crap. Now I'm going back to sleep.
You were asleep to begin with?
Jova, you're the next least familiar with
So
the show. You go next.
So, Dweebs, if I understand correctly, Alan was always supposed to be a member of Thunderbirds, and I'm guessing his dad was supposed to be the one calling from HQ in the get-go?
We rarely, if ever, had Jeff leave Tracy Island. He was just there commanding the missions.
Ah, so this is an origin movie to show how Alan became a new member in his father's place.
Yeah, but I can't think of any. I can't think of Thunderbird fans who'd want to see that.
Yeah. Okay, this movie. It's hard to think of what to make of this movie. Like, from what from what I understand, it seems like, okay, it's the typical formula. Oh, the first 10 or so minutes seem somewhat promising, like this is going to be an actual keen adaptation, but then, of course, immediately your expectations get shattered. And then lather, rinse, and repeat. Okay, so I guess to their credit, them focusing on Alan wasn't as much a cardinal sin as I thought it was, because he's actually supposed to be a member of Thunderbirds. But all the same, though, you gotta love it when they do that whole, oh, you know how you're expecting the character to be on the team, or like, you know, in this special outfit, but it literally takes until the very, 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 very tail end for him to do that stuff? Yeah, that's annoying all the same. Penelope and her driver are literally the best things of this movie, pretty much. Aside from Alan or whatnot. And, well, this movie feels like it has trouble deciding what it wants to be and how it wants to do it. Like, 1 minute it's going the Spy Kids angle, next it's going the Home Alone angle, then it's going your typical origin stories angle, then it feels like it's going the Incredibles angle by the end of the movie, surprisingly. And then with a dash of, oh, let me die, because I win if I die. Even though it won't be your fault whatsoever if you don't save me. Huh. Confusing. The comedy is... To call it hit and miss would be too much of a gracious benefit. Like, it is much more miss than hits. It has like... Okay, well, again. Okay, the scenes with Penelope, those for the most part work. Until they don't. Okay, to give this movie a positive, the music and score, they're good. Kudos to there, you did it. The effects are, they range from decent to, yeah, that's a hella fake.
The scorpion.
Yeah.
That's scorpion because,
I get it, you know, CGI and all that, but damn, it did not age well. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not one of the worst things we've commentated on. By far, there are so much worse things in it. That said, I can see why this would piss you off if you were like a Thunderbirds fan, because, man, did they screw the pooch at getting a theatrical take on it in so many ways. Like, it says something that I'm considering actually giving this movie a point just for steering away from cliches with how many cliches they were piling in there. Good grief.
When Team America World Police is a better Thunderbirds movie than the Thunderbirds movie, there's a problem.
And it's especially more so considering that while Jerry Anderson wasn't a huge fan of Team America, he still preferred that as an adaptation of Thunderbirds.
That says a lot, doesn't it? How pathetic is that?
Oh boy.
Being outdone by the guys behind South Park.
So at the end of the day, this film is, I'm going to call it a quiet embarrassment, in the sense where I definitely get the feeling that when it came out, it probably got a lot of backlash, but nowadays it's just doomed to be incredibly obscure. I mean, the show itself isn't exactly the most well-known, but god damn, this movie is so forgettable. Yeah, I'm gonna forget it in about T-minus, already forgot it seconds.
Yep.
Okay, Shira, you go there.
Well, that was as generic as it possibly could be, and doesn't really portray the show properly. It's like a lot of teen movies, I guess, from this time in terms of our leads. Don't really care for it, and that's it.
Wow, Dwebs, I can tell why we have more seconds in our copy. There's like a total of 7 seconds of dark screen at the very end of the video.
Weird.
On the Blu-ray.
Yeah, that sums up the whole thing.
Also, on a scale of 1 to 10, How desperate for a sequel do you rate this movie, considering the obvious sequel hooks they placed, and the fact that the score literally ends on a sort of ending?
Honestly, I give it a 5.
It can't even get desperation out clear. Alright, Dwibs, close us out with your final thoughts.
Yeah. My final thoughts, yeah. Okay, for a start off, this you could barely associate this show, other than it has the word Thunderbirds in the title, and there are spaceships that look like the International Rescue Craft.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, this has barely anything to do with anything. I mean, Thunderbirds was not Spy Kids. It wasn't the wacky It wasn't the wacky misadventures of Alan Tracy with his made-up friends and love interest that he kind of does have in the show sometimes.
Oh, so I guess it would have made sense if he and Tintin turned out to be love interests in the movie.
Oh yeah, because of all the things that they've changed in this movie, that would have been the one step too far, definitely.
That's the thing. Apparently, that's one of the few things that they didn't really have. I mean, sure, they talked about him having a crush, but it's not like they gave him a romance like the show, so...
Whatever, I don't care. Moving on.
Go on, Dwibs.
Also, yeah, there is also the show, for as long as the episodes were for a kids show, 50 minutes, they at least had, tension, because, the show basically followed a pattern of anything that can go wrong does go wrong. So at the very least, there's some tension to be got from that. Here, it's nothing really. I mean, the most tension you get is when is in the first action scene where the miners get bashed together by mistake.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's it. The action itself is meh, and the way they shot the fighting scenes also were terrible. I mean, seriously, did Frakes forget how to shoot hand combat? He did that semi-competently in First Contact.
I think you can pretty much sum this movie as this. People who are normally in or make great things got roped into this, where they suddenly suck at their jobs.
Yeah, I know. Well, would it shock you guys to learn that this was Jonathan Frakes' last theatrically released movie?
That he directed or that he was involved in, period?
Period.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
damn.
That he probably was forbidden by law to direct more movies because of fear of causing narcolepsy on people from how boring this piece of atrocity is.
Well, that's the thing. His movies weren't boring to start with. First Contact was great. Insurrection, well, I mean, you wouldn't fall asleep through that movie, so there's that.
True. Very true.
I haven't seen Clock Stoppers, so I can't comment.
I see what Dwibs means, though. This is a very... Well, if you saw his previous films, this feels not like it. Well, okay,
Yeah.
Apparently he did direct 2 movies after Thunderbirds. There was the...
Yeah, but they were like direct-to-TV.
Ouch.
That's why he said theatrically released.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and even if you take out the fact that this is supposed to be an adaptation of Thunderbirds, it's still not a good movie. All the mid-2000s stupid kids movie cliches you'll find here. The adults are stuck somewhere. The kids have to save the day. There are somewhat semi-competent adults, but even they suck near the end. Cartoon sound effects. Over-the-top villain. And there's even more over-the-top sidekicks, which kind of renders him renders the main villain a bit more in the background if your sidekicks have more hamminess.
Despite being played by Ben freaking Kingsley.
Yeah, I know, it's tragic, right?
Hmm.
The best parts of the movie, production-wise, are the sets, the designs of the Thunderbirds. I mean, they're at least reminiscent of the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the score. I mean, it's Hans Zimmer and Ramin Djawadi doing a kids movie.
Yeah,
At the very least, there's that. Plus, Hans Zimmer has a good theme to work with.
that as well.
Oh, and as well.
Oh, son of a
But other-
gun.
But other than that, it's just not a good movie. It pisses off Thunderbirds fans, and as we showed here today, it can't even entice people who aren't fans.
Well, at least Jonathan Frakes apparently got back to sensing as how he still is directing television stuff. Hell, he's even done stuff from Star Trek Picard, so if that isn't a return to form, I don't know what is.
I mean, it's a franchise that helped birth his career, so I guess you always have that to fall back on, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was Thunderbirds 2004, a movie. We'll see you next time for a movie that's hopefully a bit more exciting.
See you then.
See you then.